Welcome to Take 5, or maybe 7, with the Saints. I'm Elizabeth, and today will be the feminine follow-up to yesterday's saints, Timothy, Titus, and Silas, 3 male companions of St. Paul. Today, January 27th, is the day that we commemorate 3 devout women who were also acquaintances of Paul, Lydia, Phoebe, and Dorcas, all witnesses to the faith and examples of how the apostles and really the whole early church depended on women for sustenance, protection, and support. Let's begin with the scripture reading for today, which is from the book of Acts, chapter 16, verses 11 through 15, the conversion of Lydia. We set sail from Troas and took a straight course to Samothrace, the following day to Neapolis, and from there to Philippi, which is a leading city of the district of Macedonia and a Roman colony. We remained in this city for some days. On the Sabbath day, we went outside the gate by the river, where we supposed there was a place of prayer, and we sat down and spoke to the women who had gathered there. A certain woman named Lydia, a worshiper of God, was listening to us. She was from the city of Thyatira and a dealer in purple cloth. The Lord opened her heart to listen eagerly to what was said by Paul. When she and her household were baptized, she urged us, saying, "If you have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come and stay at my home." And she prevailed upon us. Very little is said in the Bible about Lydia, and there are only 2 mentions of her by name in Scripture. The reference we just heard in Acts 16 of her conversion and subsequent baptism. But we can glean a few useful details about her conversion, specifically about the conversion of Jewish believers. Lydia was originally from Thyatira, but was living in Philippi when she met Paul on his second missionary journey. She was a woman of means, a prosperous seller of purple cloth, which Thyatira was famous for, being a center of the indigo trade. The dye used to stain fabrics purple was made from mollusks found in the Mediterranean Sea. Purple cloth was rare and was extremely valuable as a result. Lydia apparently had moved to Philippi to ply her trade in that city. According to our biblical source, when Lydia heard the good news of Jesus Christ, God opened her heart to receive what Paul was saying. After her conversion and baptism, she insisted that Paul and his companions come and stay at her home. Luke says that she prevailed upon us, which indicates the fervency of her desire to be hospitable. The missionaries did indeed judge Lydia to be a true believer, and they stayed at her home while in Philippi. Why is Lydia's conversion so significant? Well, Lydia was a Gentile woman who was attracted to Judaism, which is how Paul finds her on a riverbank, where she and a group of women had gathered for Sabbath prayers. When Paul preaches his gospel of inclusiveness, Lydia opens her heart and is baptized. It also marks the start of a new epoch in the Bible. Up to that point, the gospel had not gone further than Asia Minor, which is modern-day Turkey. In fact, on this journey, Paul's original intention had been to stay in Asia, but God sent Paul a vision calling him westward across the Aegean Sea and into Macedonia, which is modern-day Greece. Although she was a native of Asia Minor, Lydia was the first European convert to Christianity, thus beginning the Western movement of the Christian faith. If you want to dive deeper into Paul's missionary journey where he encounters Lydia, I recommend you watch 2 videos that focus on Acts 16 from Father Bailey's video series on the book of Acts, and those 2 videos are linked in the description box below. Phoebe was the apparent patroness of the Christian community in Cenchreae near Corinth. She is the first person mentioned by the Apostle Paul in his letters to the Romans, and he refers to her as a deacon and a patroness, or a helper of many. This is the only place in the New Testament where a woman is specifically referred to with these 2 distinctions. Phoebe was a notable woman in the church of Cenchreae and was trusted by Paul to be his emissary and deliver his letter to the Romans. Because the Romans are not acquainted with her, Paul provides them with her credentials. Phoebe is therefore an example of women's service to the church as a proto-deacon. Dorcas, in Greek, or Tabitha in Aramaic, was known for her good works and acts of charity. This Hebrew woman lived in the ancient biblical city of Joppa, which is located on Israel's western Mediterranean border, about 35 miles west of Jerusalem. Today, it's part of the greater city of Tel Aviv. Historically, Joppa was an important center of commerce, being located on the Via Maris, a significant ancient trading route. There aren't many personal details about her. However, one verse reveals some important information about Tabitha. At Joppa, there was a certain disciple named Tabitha, which is translated Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and charitable deeds, which she did. So she was a female pupil, a Hebrew woman who personally performed many good deeds and charitable works for the poor, for whom she had compassion and mercy. Tabitha was well known by the widows for whom she sewed tunics and garments, which was a time-consuming, labor-intensive hand work. Just imagine ordering and purchasing all the materials, cutting, assembling, fitting, altering, and sewing tunics, cloaks, and robes. It's a lot of work. So it's understandable when Tabitha became sick and died, the whole community felt a great loss. As the story goes, after her body was washed and placed in an upper room, 2 men were dispatched to fetch the apostle Peter to ask him to immediately come to Joppa. When Peter arrived, he saw that the widows were very upset about Tabitha's death. They showed Peter the garments that she had made for them and told him all about the good works that she had done. In response, Peter sends everyone out of the room, kneels down, and prays to God. After this prayer, he turns to Tabitha and says, "Tabitha, arise." And she did. God miraculously restored her life, and then Peter presented Tabitha alive to the saints and the widows. Afterward, it became known throughout all Joppa, and many people believed in the Lord. Today, we remember these 3 significant women, the apostolic testimony to their faith, and recognize their importance and relevance to the mission of the early church. All 3 women are an example to us, an inspiration to endeavor to serve others by whatever talents and means God has blessed us with. Thanks for watching. Please join us for tomorrow's video on St. Thomas Aquinas. Bye for now.